You already know how to trade, and that's the part that hurts. You have a profitable strategy, you've done the back testing. On a good day, you know how to read a chart better than anybody else. And then you do the thing you swore you would never do again. You move your stop, you double your risk, you hand back a month's worth of profit and progress in 20 minutes, and you sit there asking yourself the exact same question again: what is wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. But there's a part of your psyche that you've never met. A part your whole life you're pretending doesn't exist. And every time you blow up, it's that part of you that's in the driver's seat. The traders sitting in the top 1% aren't smarter than you. They're not more disciplined than you. They don't even necessarily have a better trading strategy than you. They've just done the one thing that most people aren't willing to do. They turned around and looked at it. Today I'm going to show you what it is and why it's quietly costing you every funded account and every payout, and how owning and integrating it makes you invincible in the face of the markets. This is the dark psychology of trading. Now, fair warning, this video isn't for everybody. Most people prefer living in the fantasy land that they're one-sided. To acknowledge and own and even appreciate certain parts of your psyche that have always been there but are repressed can be painful, but it's exactly what needs to be done to break into the 1% club. 99% of traders aren't willing to do this, hence why 99% of traders will never be profitable. What I'm going to share with you in this video are similar insights I've shared with many traders all around the world when I work with them one-on-one. Here's an example of a trader I've worked with recently who messaged me on a $9,000 payout, and over the last 3 months has secured $30,000 in trading payouts. Now, if there are any particular challenges in your trading that you just can't seem to get past, I want you to comment them below. I'll offer you some help. And if you resonate with my teachings, you resonate with my style, I encourage you to download the resource that's linked in the description. Now, there's a part of the psyche that is referred to as the shadow, the unconscious, the subconscious, repressed parts of the psyche. They're there, but most people aren't willing to look at them. Most people aren't willing to face them. Most people take the parts of themselves that they're ashamed of, that they want to hide away from individuals and hide away from society, and they bury these components of themselves. They repress these components of themselves. The times when they were a loser, the times when they perceive themselves inferior or not intelligent enough or non-desirable or incapable. These are the parts of the psyche that get pushed away, they get repressed, they get buried, but they don't disappear. They're always there. So the very repressing of these components means they get pushed out of the conscious awareness momentarily, but they're still running you. The way you get ahead of 99% of traders and integrate the part of your shadow and the dark psychology that most people are running away from is to stop running, to face, to integrate, to understand what role these parts of your psyche play in helping you be a consistently profitable trader, and integrating and appreciating these parts back into your psyche so there's no part of yourself that you're running away from. And there's no part that can be triggered by the market. You see, every trader, every individual has parts of themselves that they're proud of and parts of themselves that they're ashamed of. It's very easy to see. There are certain parts of your life and your experiences and yourself that you try and hide away from society in any of the areas of life. Physical, mental, financial, social. There are certain parts that we try and hide away from other people, and there are other sides that we're proud of and we try and show off to people. There are certain parts of the psyche that we want to express, and there are certain parts that we want to repress and hide away. The parts of the psyche that we have an accumulation of shame and guilt that we want to hide away, that we want to bury and repress, are what we refer to as the shadow. The parts of ourselves when we've perceived ourselves a loser or inferior or unintelligent or incapable or unsuccessful or undisciplined or lazy. Because at times in the market, you're going to lose. But if there are certain parts that we're trying to bury and we're trying to repress, such as the loser part of the self or the unintelligent part of the self or the inferior part of the self, and because of the shame and guilt around that, we're going to be reactive in the market when we have to face a loss. And we're going to be fearful of gaining losses, and we're not going to be able to face that part of ourselves. This is part of the triggering experience of painful losses and what triggers us into revenge pattern sequences. It's also part of what stops us from being able to scale and get profit, because the more we scale, the greater pressure and the greater degree of being a potential loser. So any part we repress we bury, we try and hide away, the market is going to trigger within us and we're going to be made to face. If we don't learn to integrate and appreciate those parts of ourselves, we're going to be run by the market out of fear of gaining that particular part that we're trying to repress. And so too, there are parts that we want to show off and express. The moments we perceived ourselves a winner, superior, intelligent, capable, successful, disciplined, and active. And these two are ways we can be run by the market, because we become infatuated with gaining these particular feelings and experiences in the market. We end up projecting our own stuff, impulsively chasing trades out of the desire to get these parts met. We fear missing out on these things. So when we perceive that there's a potential trade unconsciously that will make us a winner, we fear missing out on that. We have impulsive behaviors to take trades that aren't part of our plan, or to over risk, or to take trades that haven't quite met all the criteria. So the reason we're run by the market is because of our unconscious buried shames and guilts that we're trying to repress, that we're trying to run away from, and also the prides that we're proud of, we're trying to show off. These become our triggers and how we're run by the market. The trader who's able to integrate these components back into themselves and appreciate the shadow and take the prides off the pedestal are the traders that become unreactive in the market. So irrespective of win or loss in the market, irrespective of price movement in the market, the trader isn't reactive, they're just sticking to their processes. They're not reacting, they're acting out of a higher function of what is objectively the wise decision according to my plan. Those are the traders that get ahead. Those are the traders that build consistent profitability. This is the shift. And when you do it, the market loses its hold on you. You're no longer fearful of gaining the negative. You're no longer seeking after the positive. You're integrated, you're process-based, sticking to your proven edge. And that's where you have consistent profitability at the end of that large sample space. The market can no longer threaten the part of yourself that you refuse to face. And the market can no longer run you by the part that you're proud of and you can't let go of. So this is how you do it. You first want to go in there and find all the parts that you're reactive to, all the things that you perceive as despicable and negative traits, the parts of yourself you're repressing, trying to get rid of. This is quite a good short list to start with. And you want to go to moments where and when you actually perceived yourself a loser. And you want to go to start with the earliest, most painful moments, especially early in life where and when you perceive yourself losing, either in sporting, in games, in friendships, in relationships, in any area or any form, the early perceptions of loss. And we want to go back to those moments. And we want to get present in those moments and get back in the first person and see those moments. And we want to see in those moments, how was going through that experience a benefit to me? How did it help me? How did it serve me in that moment? We're assuming a trait has a disadvantage without an advantage. But human nature never holds on to things that don't serve their purpose. So if a trait didn't have a purpose, it would have gone extinct a long time ago. So we're going to go back and in those moments, what were the benefits to me of the loss? How did losing in that moment humble me or repurpose me? Did it push me off track to something more valuable, or did it make me stay on track and persevere to realize how important that thing was to me? And we keep listing benefits and keep finding benefits in those moments, in those contexts, until we can see that there's another side to losing. There's an advantage to holding on to that losing component of the psyche. And then we go to the next one, moments where we perceived ourselves inferior, and find the advantages and the benefits in that moment. What's the benefit of perceiving yourself inferior? Well, you get to learn new things from those you perceive as superior, or you learn to delegate to people that have those specialties. What's the benefit in the moments where and when you perceive yourself stupid? Did it give you a drive to study and to learn and to become knowledgeable in a certain area? What's the benefit of perceiving oneself as incapable? Again, did it give it a drive or a motivation or a value on doing the work that would help empower yourself in that particular area? So we go through the so-called despicable traits, the parts that we're trying to repress and hide away, and find what purpose did they serve, what advantage, what benefit did they give us in those moments, until the particular trait has just as many advantages in our perception as disadvantages. And the trait goes from being something that is despicable or negative or something that you try and repress or hide away, to realize that these so-called negative traits, what they do is they repurpose us. And they surface to repurpose us. And they surface to refocus us. And they're there holding us accountable to ensure that we're pursuing things that are truly important to us, because the moment pains come in when we're pursuing things that aren't important to us, we get thrown off that to find something that is more important to us. So the benefit of challenge and pain in those moments is it helps repurpose and refocus the mind. So this is a worthwhile exercise to help integrate the repressed negative parts that we're trying to avoid to help see the purpose that they've served. And we don't want to make anything up or justify that trait. That's not the exercise. We want to go in there and have a look at the advantages that have always been there, but we've been overlooking. And then we want to go to the moments when we've perceived ourselves a winner, or superior, or smart, or capable, successful, disciplined, active, and get present in those moments and have a look at the moment we perceived ourselves a winner. How was that actually a drawback and disservice to me in that moment? Well, I got puffed up, I became complacent, I stopped doing the work that actually got me there in the first place, and I lost my focus on my mission and on my trajectory. So that puffed up winning feeling actually had consequences to it as well. And the moments I perceived myself a loser, I got refocused, I got prioritized, I did more work, I worked harder, I was more motivated than ever. So when we start to see the advantages of the so-called despicable traits and the disadvantages of those so-called good traits, we start to integrate the mind. And we're not splitting it, trying to seek after one, trying to avoid the other, but we integrate the mind and we appreciate both as necessary feedbacks. And the moments we perceived ourselves superior, we go to those moments, and how were those moments a drawback to us? Did they keep us stuck in small thinking? When we perceived ourselves smart, how was that a drawback to us? Capable, drawback. And we're looking for the drawbacks in those moments, again, not making up or justifying, but just looking at drawbacks in those moments so we can detach ourselves from those prides and integrate the mind. And as long as we hold on to the pride of being the so-called positive, we're going to judge and resent the negative by contrast laws. So we're going in and finding the drawbacks of the prides and the benefits of the shames to integrate the mind, so there's no expression repressions, but we are integrated, we're process-based, and we're not reactive to the market. And by doing this exercise over and over, going to other moments when we perceived ourselves a loser, especially in the market, and finding how those losses helped with getting us to consistent profitability, and the moments we perceived ourselves a winner and we're attached to dopamine highs in the market, go to the highest charged ones and find the drawbacks of those wins in those moments and how they were distractions to us and how they hurt our ability to have consistent profitability. And go to each individual moment getting present and having a look at, if we perceived it as negative, what the advantages were. If we perceived it as positive and advantageous, what the drawbacks were. So we can take down the prides, lift up the shames, not to make this bad or this good, but just to see them for what they are, as opposed to our good and bad labels that we put on them. So traders, this is the shift, the exercise to do if you want to integrate the mind and if you want to get ahead of 99% of traders. So you're not reactive to the market. You're not reactive to the external world, but you get clear on what your system is, what your edge is, and irrespective of win or loss in the market, irrespective of what the market makes you face about yourself, you do not get distracted, you stay focused. And I encourage you to do this. I encourage you to continue to do it long term by owning and appreciating the negative parts, owning and taking off the pedestal the so-called positive parts. It's a worthwhile exercise to integrate the mind. Now, if you found this video insightful and useful, I encourage you to download the Bulletproof Your Trading Mindset 3.0 training. That free training comes with my AI-powered trading psychology dashboard and tool, which helps you implement the proper trading psychology in real time. I've modeled the mindset of the top 1% of traders and I put it into that tool so that you can implement the correct mindset while you're actually executing. So you don't just watch YouTube videos or read trading psychology books and then when you come to trade under pressure, you can't implement any of those things. I want to give you a tool so you can implement the principles in real time. So if you don't already have that tool, make sure you go into the description or the first comment and download it, or scan the QR code that's on your screen right now. And before you click away, traders, I want you to watch this video that's going to pop up on your screen now. It's a 22-minute video that summarizes 6 years of trading psychology, and I will see you all in the next video.